Hey guys, it's me, it's CMZ News, aka Candace, and welcome back to my channel where I'm here to give you yet another recap of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, this time episode 14, and it is Wednesday, and it is also a new episode of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills coming on tonight, actually airing right now, I believe, 5 o'clock Eastern time, so, or wherever I am, Pacific Standard Time, but I am here and I am giving you a recap for last week's episode. So if you are new here, this is my channel where I just recap Beverly Hills so far. Done okay, could do a lot better being regular, but I am just a fan of the franchise, fan of all things Bravo, love watching the shows, and just thought, you know what, I want to give my opinions here. People ask me, and I'm like, you know what, maybe somebody will actually want to listen to me talk about what I think. So here we go. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I love comments, just hearing feedback and what you think of my recap as well. So on this episode, we start off with Dorit and PK at the dentist. PK is getting his teeth done. And let me tell you, he needed it. I mean, I'm not here trying to like tooth shame or anything because like my teeth are not perfect, but he really needed it. I don't think I remembered before really what his teeth looked like, but they were in pretty poor shape. So he has a beautiful new set of teeth and they actually look really great on him. Dorit also got her teeth done as well. And I actually thought her teeth looked fine before, but she got them done. And she said, you know, we're a couple because we're both getting our teeth done at the same time. And they have this really colorful dentist, Dr. Sela, and Dorit starts talking with him about a party that they want to have. They're like working on PK's mouth and he's all, tell them about the party. So Dorit has been working with this charity and it's called It's called Homeless, Not Toothless, which is such a shady name. It's like, listen, you may be homeless, but you ain't got to be toothless, okay? It's like, all right, it's kind of funny, but listen, everybody wants to feel human, beautiful, you know, have your dignity. So lots of people are homeless. You're not always homeless and just like maybe living on the street. You might be within transition. You might be, maybe you sold your house and you just don't have anywhere to go. I mean, who knows? There's lots of different reasons why you may end up without a home temporarily, and there's no reason to be toothless. So it's a charity, I guess, that like she started with, or Sharon Stone was a part of, and she used to be neighbors with Sharon Stone, which I think is cool because I love Sharon Stone. And Dorit is talking to Dr. Sela about it and invites him to the party. And he also advises that he might be able to gift a smile, which I've definitely heard of dentists doing things like that. So it was a really cute little scene with them, and pretty much just a little segue for something that Dorit is involved in, a way for her to give back to those who maybe cannot do this on their own, or who can't do it on their own, the homeless. Okay, then we go to Sutton. Crystal stops by Sutton's store. Crystal, remember, had COVID, so she's recovering. She comes in, and they immediately get into what happened at Lisa's party last Saturday. So Crystal had already got Lisa's version of events, and she's like, you know, Lisa's really angry. She's still angry. She's really angry. You know how Crystal's like, how she talks. And Sutton's like, you know, she is angry. But when she talked to me at lunch, she didn't say that. But when she gets in front of her audience, she turns it on. See, and it's true because, and we'll see later in this episode, Brenna is so good at this role, or she thought she was so good, definitely thought she was untouchable, that she doesn't know how to be real in these moments. You're telling Sutton it's all good, it's okay, and she's the queen of owning it, but then here you go, talking out both sides of your mouth and running to everybody else. We saw her in a not behind the scene, but another scene, telling Erica she's still mad, telling Crystal she's still upset, and not telling Sutton the truth. So there's more for that to come. I mean, I'm honestly like so tired of this stupid fight, and they just want to cause trouble with Sutton, as far as I'm concerned. But Sutton brings up that they were discussing Crystal's ED. And Crystal's like, well, like, what do you mean? Yeah, like, Lisa told me that I brought it up. So Lisa did tell her, like, hey, just so you know, we did talk about it. Crystal thought that maybe they were just expressing their concern. Sutton let her know that she felt it was a little gossipy. that she didn't feel like it was out of true concern, and that, you know, she feels that the ladies feel that Crystal isn't getting help when she has all the resources. Crystal addresses that and it's like, look, this is a lifelong thing. You know, I'm not going to just go to a couple therapy sessions and next thing you know, it's cured. It's something I have to work on all the time. You may not know when it's triggered. It sounds like Crystal definitely I don't want to say self-medicates, but she has figured out some sort of method. Right now, it sounds like it's definitely out of control, and probably being on this daggone show, dealing with these women who are like 20, maybe even 25 plus years older than her, causing her all kinds of grief and stress that she doesn't necessarily deal with, on top of the trolls, the racist comments Crystal has gotten in her DMs. It's probably flared those things up, right? So, and I'm sure the women experience this in their own way. Maybe they have breakouts when they have a bad season, or they start overeating, or they don't eat. You know, there's many ways people manage their stress. I have no training in what Crystal's gone through, so I don't know if that's even correct, but I could just imagine being in the circumstances has not helped with what she's dealing with. And she also said that she's noticing a pattern. Any time, you know, she experiences or lets herself be vulnerable to these women, it's almost like she feels like they find a way to knock her down a peg and say what she's feeling, she shouldn't be feeling. And now she has a valid issue, and they're like, well, you should be getting help for that. Like, you're not getting help for it, so we don't know what to do for you. I didn't think it was gossipy, honestly, when they were talking about it. I thought they were talking about people who just are not maybe very educated on it. Like, okay, well, go get you some help. You have money, you have support of your family, you have us. Go get help. And it's clearly not that simple. And bottom line, it's just not that simple. It's just not that simple. So Crystal kind of like made a mental note of it, and we move on. And now we're at Diana's. Okay, you guys. We've got Asher, okay? The scene opens and it's like this real serene, and we like go into Diana's like house, and Asher is playing the piano and he is singing, okay? He's got a hat on, his little shirt, and he's like, I'm drowning in my despair, don't know anybody's there, you guys are filming me, but I'm gonna pretend like I'm just casually, okay. It was ridiculous. It was so like, I like laughed, like, are you kidding me? And then he's like playing, and don't get me wrong, he can play the piano, he can sing or whatever. You've got Diana slowly walking down the stairs in her like little Gucci jumpsuit or whatever. And she's like, oh, you know, when Asher, my favorite moments is when Asher forget I'm in the house, you know, and he playing, and I'm like, oh, I'm listening, I'm right here, you know, and she sits down and she's just like watching him from afar, and it was just like, once again, this is why Diana's on the show. I don't get it, because Diana is very, very, very wealthy. Like, she literally knows the Pope. Like, literally, I've seen pictures of her at the Vatican. She knows everybody. She knows some famous people. She knows some infamous people. Look it up. Why are you on the show to have this boy playing the, like, if you don't reach out to Elton John yourself and stop talking about this charity and get your man some charity, get him on a record, because this is pathetic at this point, watching him do these little setup scenes, okay? Apparently Asher is working on a show, though, that he's got coming up, and she's like, you know, Asher, he grew up sheltered, you know, on Broadway. He's a child, but he needs my strength, you know? And I'm like, she just used some really weird words to describe her man, like the father of your fiance. Like, she described him meek and mild, and like the father of, you know, like he's like a child. She described him as a child, kind of. I think she literally did say that. I thought it was a little weird. I mean, don't get me wrong. In relationships, one person can have like the more like strong personality, whereas Asher's maybe more meek. Maybe he gives more chances, and Diana's just like Bosnian, you know, ready to fight, and just her guard is up because of everything she's been through. But I thought it was a little strange wording to be talking about like her man that she's like having babies with. So they go and they like sit down, and they literally eat a bucket of caviar, and they start discussing the pregnancy, and that she wants to do another implant. I don't know, is that right? Implantation? Okay. She discussed that when she did find out about her miscarriage, that when she let Asher know that she said again that he grew up in that moment, and it was probably a moment where he really did have to be strong for her, since she is always that strong person and he doesn't have to be. She's got it all figured out. She's got people who can help them figure it out if she can't figure it out. And he probably doesn't actually have to step up into that role much. But in that moment, he was what she needed. I see great affection between each other. She seems to adore him. I don't even think it's in a boy toy way. I mean, I feel like he enjoys being on her arm. He seems very proud. He holds her hand, but I don't sense a great sexual chemistry. I'm sorry, I just don't. A lot of the other couples in the show have been married a really long time, but I mean, Kyle and Maurizio, for example, they're still getting it in, they have that. And even PK and Dorit, they have a lot of flirtation. And at first glance, you might think Dorit's just with them for the money, but I think there's something there with PK, and I'm not quite sure what it is with Asher. I'm not quite sure about Diana. I will say though, I am really, really interested in hearing more about her pregnancy and what she's gone through with that, because I am almost 40 and I have been having difficulty trying to conceive. And so a second child, shall I say. So I would really love to hear more about that journey. And especially she's almost 10, she's 8, 9 years older than me. And I think that's fascinating. There's probably many women out there who maybe think that they're just not going to have their chance to have a baby, and to hear what she has been able to do to carry her child and is trying to have another one. I want to hear about that. I do. So it maybe doesn't really fit the show, but I think that would have been more helpful than just watching Diana lounge around the house and just, even, okay, she's eating caviar, but I really, aside from the jet, I haven't really seen 100% opulence from her, just my opinion. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys kind of agree with what I'm saying with them. I gave them way more energy than I wanted to, but I really wanted to kind of say more of my thoughts about them. Then we get over to Kyle's house, and Kyle or Erica comes over. They're just gonna do a workout, and some guy's there and he's stretching them. He's got a gong. And Kyle advises, she's always dropping that thing on the ground, and it's always doing the splits, and is literally be having her thing on the floor. But apparently she's that stretchy and bendy due to some sort of medical condition where she can bend it as she needs to, bend it like Beckham, but she says sometimes her arms and legs go numb. So whatever. So they have some tea and they talk about Garcelle and the drinking that Garcelle keeps bringing up. Now remember, Kyle was gone last week because she had COVID. It's each week we get a missing housewife or two for COVID, right? So last week was Kyle's week. So Kyle missed the wine tasting at Rena's. And Erica's look, I'm over this story, okay? I don't have a problem. My problem is my life imploded. I hate my life. I hate this. I hate that. I hate my house, which I said I love her house, but she's in a bad way. How she's coping maybe isn't the healthiest, right? But she's realizing that Garcelle has been real loose lips and been talking to anybody who'll listen about her problem, her perceived drinking problem. She has been over drinking. That's not a lie. And, Kyle's so do you think it wasn't from a good place? Erica's oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It wasn't from a good place. Not from a good place at all. I have to agree with Erica that I cannot say 100% that Garcelle isn't concerned, but I do think that she has been very running her mouth about it, telling Dorit, she fell and this and that. And to be honest, I feel last year Garcelle tried many times to show Erica that she could be there for her. She tried when they had that a lunch. I think it was the first year. Yeah, it was last year. She went to Erica's house and they were talking about her breakup with Tom. She asked Erica straight up, was there cheating? Erica denied it. And that was a moment her and Garcelle could have bonded, because Garcelle's husband cheated on her, had a 5-year-long affair that Garcelle apparently had no idea was happening. Another time when they were in Palm Springs and Garcelle brought up that Tom had called her, Erica snapped at her. Garcelle got down on her level and apologized to her face, sent her a text, Erica ignored it. The other time was at the dinner. I think that was at dinner. Erica was crying. Garcelle reaches over, tries to wipe the tears, and Erica does one of these numbers. She tried many times to be a soft spot and to show Erica, hey, I actually really do care. We're a lot alike. We have older sons. We were single moms. She tried to really go there with her and relate. And now she can relate because her son Oliver experienced substance abuse issues and stuff. So with that, I think Garcelle really tried to be there, and Erica was always like kind of shining her. I think she liked Garcelle, but I don't think at that time had time to open up to a new friend. It took her like 4 or 5 years to get to where she is with the ladies now, because Erica's been on the show, like 5 or 6 or 7 years, I think. So I just think that Garcelle's not the one who can really get through to her, even though she has some experience with it. So Erica's just not really ready to receive the message. Plus, Garcelle has made many comments about the situation with Tom. She only Sutton and Garcelle really put any sort of fire to her last year. Even though some of the other ladies had questions, they all got off scot-free for that, okay? So, that was it. That pretty much ends. The girls are all getting ready. And Rob has a little scene, Crystal's husband, where he's like trying on ties and stuff. And they're all getting ready for Toothless to Homeless. Now we have a quick scene where Kyle is calling Rinna, and they have a quick discussion about Rinna's rosé party. Rinna's describing it, she's like, yeah, I went off on Sutton. And she goes, I told her to get out of my house. And Kyle's like, well, I heard you said to get the F out of your house. Rinna's like, no, I didn't say that. I didn't tell her to get the F out of my house. And then they show the flashback scene. So she does actually say, she says, F you, get out of my house. She does say that. She says the F word. It wasn't in that order, but she does say F. Anytime the F word is dropped, it's extremely strong. It's vulgar. It's aggressive. Like if you're F bombing, like I might sit up. Like if we're having a conversation and like I start hearing the F word, and I'm not, I'm not like really a fighter or anything, but I might like, all right, okay, we're going there, So yeah, it got serious. Like we woke up. Like you said the F word, And then you tell somebody to get out of your house. I mean, like, what am I going to sit here and argue with you how I can't get out of your house? And now Sutton sure didn't move, but that's a whole other story. So we get to Dorit's party, okay? They're talking about the ladies are all getting dressed. They're driving over. We get different scenes. That's like the new thing, right? I think watching everybody get ready to go somewhere, to call everybody, then to drive in the car on their way there. Dorit is wearing, so we're at Dorit's now, okay? And it looks beautiful. She has having this party that she invited all the ladies to earlier. It is a black and gold party. And there's a little scene where Dorit's like, I hate when it's like a hard theme and they do all this stuff. It's like, Dorit, you seem like you would love a good theme party, okay? Dorit is a theme every time she goes. If there's not a theme, she makes one. But she looks gorgeous. That dress, like she was wearing that dress, okay? Dorit looked good. Vintage Cavalli. She looked gorgeous. The table was gorgeous. Black, gold. I want to say maybe some hints of red. I don't know. PK mentions that there is a surprise and it's coming at 7. PK's like messing with the lights. That was kind of funny. And the ladies all start to arrive. We also get a clip of Dwight, who is like a friend of Lisa Vanderpump's. And we get that scene where he like pushed Ken in the pool and Ken almost hit his head. I was like, wow. And the guests are arriving. The dentist arrives. We get a flashback scene with the dentist where apparently he's joking with Dorit about having 9 kids. I don't know if actually it was a joke or if he really does. But I gotta move this light. I gotta give me some more light. I swear, I have the worst lighting in here. I'm gonna work on that. But yeah, I don't know if he really has 9 kids, but apparently he did a 23andMe and he has like all these kids. I don't know, but he seems like a character. So Maurizio and Kyle arrive. Maurizio's wearing all black. And Kyle's like, well, where's your gold? And he goes, oh, PK has it for me. And PK, it gives Maurizio a Versace belt. And it was just cute. And so Mo's putting it on. We also get a quick scene with PK talking to Rob and Erica, who's arrived at the party. Everyone's there by now. And he is talking about how when he got pulled over, that the cop was like, where are you coming from? Those questions that they ask. He's like, I'm coming for dinner. The cop's like, well, with who? And he's like, John Legend and Lionel Richie. And they started laughing. They're like, this asshole. And I kind of thought the scene was actually funny because, yeah, I mean, imagine. Now, this is a cop and pulled him over. I'm not sure exactly where. I'm not sure if he was in the affluent part of LA just then, but PK drives a nice car, clearly has money. The cop probably did think this rich jerk, maybe he's seen the show. I don't know. Like, my husband's watched it. I don't think he'd recognize PK. Maybe, I don't know who he'd recognize. For sure, some of the ladies. I don't know if he'd recognize PK. But yeah, I was with John Legend and Lionel Richie. You freaking, okay, but he was. So it's kind of funny. And then I don't think I even mentioned, I forgot for my recap last week to talk about the privilege that PK had of the cop actually driving him home once his freaking car gets towed. Yeah, would not happen. Like Garcelle said, in my community, to me, they would have took my black ass, would have been in jail and would have had to wait overnight. I wouldn't have been dropped off. But so let's see here. The ladies are all talking. Then, okay, we get the scene of the guys. And I'm actually surprised that this wasn't a bigger deal, like on Twitter and stuff. But the guys are talking. And PK's like rating the ladies. He's like, okay, who wins? Who wins? And Mo, instantly, my wife. He goes, no, take the wives out of it. Take the wives out of it. And he's like, Dorit. And he's like, no, my wife too. And then they basically rate like which housewife there was best dressed. They say at the same time. Mauricio says Rena, PK says Erica. I thought it was kind of like, it could have been borderline, maybe like creepy, but you know what? They're men. The girls do look pretty. Erica was wearing a really short dress and these like hooker heels. But yeah. So let's see here. Dorit's. Then we still haven't sat down for dinner yet. Okay. So we still haven't even got to like the main part of this charity. I'm like really trying to get more light. We haven't got to the main part here, but they have this scene where Dorita's like really talking about this tax accountant that she keeps teasing Garcelle with. She's like, he's debonair, he dresses nice, he's so charming, he's so fit, he's 60 years old. I mean, this is a guy who really likes you. He thinks you're just stunning. And they're like, okay, like does PK know like how you feel about him, Dorit? Because she was like going on and on about him. It was kind of funny. Erica's like, look, she tried to set me up with somebody too. I haven't met him yet. I haven't seen him. And this mystery guy who wants to meet Garcelle also has COVID, so he couldn't make it tonight to the party. Okay, so they end up all going to sit down and to get ready to have dinner and get started with the charity event. And I don't know if there's a presentation, but they're just going to have this dinner, probably write some checks. The dentist is going to talk, is what I'm assuming. And let's see here. Kyle, oh gosh, okay. So yeah, Dorita begins to discuss the charity. They give a round of applause. The dentist that's there does agree that he's going to donate a smile, and everyone's really happy about that. Garcelle actually admits that she's never had Botox. She was sitting next to one of their friends that was there, I don't know if it was one of Dorit's friends, and he's like, well, you look great, and then he's like, black don't crack, and Garcelle's like, that's right, keep drinking. And she is so stunning to me. She's beautiful. She absolutely is. So then you got Kyle. Now Kyle was not there last week to stir the pot, to produce, to do her unofficial role of producer on the show. So Kyle starts talking about the Rena Rose event, and she's talking to Garcelle and to Sutton. And they're saying like, no, she told me to get the F out of her house. And she's like, really? And they're like, no, she said that. So Kyle starts screaming across the table to Lisa about it. And Sutton's like, look, stop. Like, don't bring it up. Like, I don't want to talk about it right now. Garcelle's even like, look at her go. Look at her stir the shit. But you've got Kyle. Well, I'm hearing two different stories. Lisa, did you tell Sutton to get the fuck out of your house? And Lisa's like, no, I didn't say that, and then Sutton's like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. They start going back and forth, you guys. And she's like, Lisa Rinna is all, you know how this could be put to bed? This could be put to bed if you had pulled Harry aside at his birthday party and you had just apologized to him. This could all go to bed. And Sutton's like, I sent Harry a text. No, you didn't. Because Harry texted you. You know, Sutton has receipts. Sutton gets her phone. She gets her glasses on and she begins to read the text that she indeed sent Harry, telling him, happy birthday, Harry. Sorry about whatever happened. Okay, Lisa is still screaming, but why did you do it? When I get why you did it, I will drop it. I will drop it when you get me, you know. It is just back and forth. Lisa screaming. It's honestly embarrassing. Crystal got her rich friends there. Rob is there. I mean, come on. Like, this is too much. Garcelle's like, you guys, come on, there's other people. Like, we were in mixed company fighting about this foolishness. Like, it sounds so ridiculous. You're fighting. To me, it's like, Lisa, clearly you ain't had the money for the table. Clearly you were at Sutton's table. Clearly, however you get to Elton John's party every year, it's probably comped or you're there for some other reason. I think I did hear something about she's there for like correspondence or something. It's like, why are you arguing so much about it? You know? So Dorit's like, look, can everybody calm down? Because our surprise guest is coming out. It's 7 o'clock now. Okay. Next thing you know, out comes the legend, Melissa Etheridge. And they're like, where did she come from? And she comes and she starts thinking, come to my window, right? They're like, did you just crawl through the window? Because we've been fighting. Like, where were you hiding this whole time? So it stops, you know, Melissa Etheridge, she's singing. She's this feminine icon and she sings her song and it was really nice. The ladies, after she's done, they start taking pictures with her, and it just really calms everything down, okay? Then they all sit back down, and it gets started up again. Sutton's like, what is it I have to do to make this go away, okay? Because they had took pictures. They had kind of calmed down. They were laughing. You know, hearing that, you know, folk music, whatever, put everybody kind of in a better mood. And Brenna's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I really don't. I don't want to do this anymore. And she's like, you know what happened today? My mom's things came today. My mom's stuff arrived to my house today. It's heavy and I can't do this anymore. She starts breaking down and she's like, this has nothing to do with you, Sutton. My anger, me using this to fuel my anger that I feel for losing my mom, it has nothing to do with you. It is bigger than that. She's in pain and she doesn't know how to deal with it because, as we know, she lost Lois and she is like barely able to breathe. She is like breathless. And I felt like that was probably the realest I've seen Lisa. I have not lost a parent. It was just painful. I just, you know, my heart broke for her. She could barely like talk and it was actually really sad, and everybody just kind of stopped and they were like, okay, this is why she's so angry. All right, I'm gonna give it to Lisa. I think right now, dealing with the issues, and it's still coming up about this charity event 14 episodes in, yes, with Lois passing 2 months ago, she is using that to lash out. It's like if you're having a bad day and then someone says the wrong thing and you like fight that person or something, or you snap, or you're just waiting for somebody and they can get it, right? That's Lisa right now. However, the nastiness of it overall is also Lisa. Lisa overall does never let stuff go. She's gonna keep poking at it like she did last year with Denise and the Brandy threesome. That did not matter. Like, us as viewers were over it, and she just kept up with it. Kept up. She was willing to throw that 20-year friendship away. She's been friends with Sutton from before the show. Remember, she is rich. She's the one who introduces to Sutton. She came on as Lisa's friend. She's continuing to throw poor Sutton under the bus. Sutton, I can take it. I can take it. No, Sutton, it's not okay. And you know what, Lisa? I am very sorry for what happened with your mom. But it would be, you know, let's see some real stuff. Maybe the cameras were there when her mom's things came. Maybe she asked them not to be there. Maybe her daughters don't want to talk on camera about grieving for the grandma. Maybe she doesn't want to show those things. But maybe it would be, the viewers would take it a little easier on you if we saw a real soft Rinna, and not this Rinna who waits for her audience and then wants to turn it on, and then she just couldn't keep the act up anymore because she really is in true pain. Okay, so that is pretty much how it ended. And Lisa's like, I want to be done with it. I can't do it anymore. It wasn't right. It wasn't right to do this. It wasn't right to do it here. And it's not right to do it to you. And I'm sorry. And then in that moment, I believed her. I believed her in that moment. So it was a really good episode. I felt like it actually moved pretty quickly. The whole thing was still at the party. Next week, we get previews for them. They're still at the party. We get some stuff about Girardi in the case. And then we get the scene that we're all waiting for when Garcelle tells Erica, wearing a wig, wearing an afro, Erica, I don't have to do that to make you look bad. You could do that all by yourself. And then we get shock faces everywhere. So I'm looking forward to that. That's tonight. Oh, I said next week. This is next week. This is tonight. So I'm excited to see tonight when everybody's asleep. And then I'm going to go watch it. And I can't wait. So if you watch this, it's a little longer, 30 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment. And I'm going to try to get a video out. I cannot stop doing Sutton's voice. And you notice my pen. This is from the Dollar Tree. But as a diamond. And I love it. And I love Dollar Tree. And I love my 14 subscribers. And if you watch this, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And until next time, y'all, bye.